You're right, guys, and welcome. We're at House of Parliament. We're in Portcullis House, and Joshua, do you want to explain what we've been doing today and what it is?
Hi. Well, we've just been having a meeting today to discuss access to drugs for different conditions, different types of muscular dystrophy, including Duchenne's and what was it, SMA?
SMA was one of the other ones,
conditions discussed, and it's just talking about what are the criteria that NICE, the National Institute for Clinical Excellence, which evaluate access to drugs and decide who can obtain access to drugs, how they go about doing that, and what can be done to improve access to the condition at this time, which is and it's quite one of the key points was that some of these conditions, the types of muscular dystrophy, they're rare but they're not ultra rare, so it's where that criteria is drawn between the conditions that are ultra rare in terms of accessing funding through those particular streams, and there's sort of a blank area in the middle, and that's kind of one of the key things that came out of the meeting.
I guess as well, trying to push so that we can get faster access to treatments as well, so that treatments can be secured for the people that want them and in due course as well. Yeah,
that's definitely, because one of the other things that was said was that the UK lags behind the European agency that decides access to drugs. There's sort of a delay, and if we could, speed it up, it's definitely possible. And it's not just a funding issue, because there are countries in the EU which would be considered less economically able, or who can access it faster. So it's definitely about criteria and who makes the decisions and where, which is part of it.
No, absolutely. And there was a question raised as well about the difference between different types of Duchenne muscular dystrophy and how treatments would affect different people who have muscular dystrophy of different ages. That's the thing with Duchenne muscular dystrophy, isn't it? I mean, at the moment we see treatments coming through, but they've only been tested clinical trials in young patients, so then older patients can't get access to them, and it's, obviously still everyone's in the same boat.
Yeah, I mean, that's certainly the case. I'm a little bit older than some of the patients that can access these drugs, which seem to be sort of between the ages of about 5 and 10, in order to try and keep people mobile for longer, which obviously has greater long-term impacts. But it's, in terms of what's deemed to be urgent, I think it's one of the things that's come out of today. If the treatment means that you're having better outcomes long-term, in a way, you should also be able to access these drugs, because because that can even extend, the life of someone who's already that bit older, or in terms of how it's deemed, who it's given to, really.
No, absolutely, and I guess that fine line between making it economically viable but also ensuring that enough people can get access to it. And I think something else that was raised as well, the comment about making things make economic sense, or looking at economic realities, whereby if somebody takes a drug or has a treatment, then they won't need hospital admissions, many other things that would cost
even more money
in the long run in many other aspects. So again, it's like balancing out the costs as well.
Definitely, yeah.
It's a tricky process all round, I think we can all agree on that. It's something we'll be keeping our eyes on Muscle Owl, as we have been doing over these last few years, through the years ahead, because I can certainly see many more drugs and treatments coming up, and at the moment we might have 3 or 4. In years' time it could be 10 or 20, and we really will have to make sure we have everything structured and everything sorted out, won't we?
Yeah, definitely.
Thanks, Joshua, and we'll be seeing Joshua hopefully soon on Muscle Owl Talks.
Definitely, yeah.
We'll catch you all soon. Bye bye.